There he is, baby. Hijinks, by the way, the hottest sports bar in South Florida. It is in Boca. Go check it out. Great menu. And, of course, my man Joe Schad swears by the wings. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing, my friend?
What's up, Big O? Doing well. Good to be here.
Good stuff. So I came to the conclusion that I think Byron Jones is doing business with the Miami Dolphins. And what I mean by that is, well, unfortunately, he had a late surgery. Now there's been a delay in his return. Somebody I normally don't use as a source told me that he's kind of been particular about his return, that he needs to be pretty close to 100%. And there's been, things. It's not a Will Fuller thing. It's a like he wants to play, but he doesn't play unless he's at a certain point, and he just hasn't felt that he's been at that point yet. That's why I think McDaniel said also that the doctors have pretty much done everything that they can. It's not in their hands anymore at this point. So I think Byron Jones and his agent are being very careful on their return because they want to make sure they're 100% healthy. So what they put on film allows them to be good free agents in the off season. So I think Byron Jones is making business decisions right now, not necessarily Dolphin decisions. Your thoughts on that, Joe Schad?
Well, let's take a look at Byron Jones's contract. He's probably going to be on the team next year. So I don't think he's going to be a free agent after this season. There's 2 years left on his contract.
You got a $14 million cap hit they can take this year after releasing him. And Joe, if
Byron Jones is a good player. Why would you cut him and take a $14.8 million cap hit?
Can you do it in June and break it up into both seasons? Is that how it works, or do you do it before March? I forgot how that rule goes.
Pre-June 1st release, dead cap 14.8, cap savings 4. I don't know. This is a good player. Listen, the last time my colleagues physically saw Byron Jones, his injured lower leg didn't look as healthy or strong as the other leg. And so, we don't know. I don't know all the details and particulars of Byron Jones's injury. Lower leg, Achilles area, certainly not an easy injury to come back from. This is a guy who's the best, what is it called? Best long jumper, broad jumper in the entire NFL. So he's a guy who relies on his athleticism. I've heard that Byron Jones wants to come back. He wants to play. So like you said, not a Will Fuller situation.
No.
Right.
So let's not reiterated that many times. Many times. It's not. He's not doing that. But he has to protect himself because he might be released in the offseason. I'm just saying.
You think the Dolphins might release him? I don't see that.
I know, my brother. Did you see Flo getting fired? And I kept telling you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. I'm just telling you what I think is going to end up happening. And by the way, if you're the Dolphins, you bet your ass you're releasing him because here's X playing on 2 messed up groins and herpes, and and there is Armstead playing on an injured toe the entire season, and you choose to maybe not go out there at 85, 90, 95% or whatever, and there are other players that are playing at those percentages, and you're not helping us, and we're killing ourselves, and trying to stay alive, and we're paying you a lot of money, and I'm not getting any return this year. And if I'm Chris Greer, yeah, dude, I think I'm thinking of parting ways with you. Yes, I am. Greedy Williams lost his job in Cleveland. That's a guy I could easily trade for and replace Byron Jones with Greedy Williams. Something like that. And I know he's still available because he's not starting there in Cleveland. So that's a guy you could trade for. And if you see a trade for a corner like that has a future, Byron Jones doesn't. That's why I think there's I understand your thought process. It makes a lot of sense. Like, he's a good player. Why would you let him go? But there are cap issues involved in all of this. And
Yeah, I
so,
mean, you know, just to be clear, in this conversation, you've hinted that the Dolphins aren't thrilled with Byron Jones not, you know, trying to play. I don't have that information, so you might have more information on that particular detail than I do.
well, Joe, he had surgery in March when he could have had it a lot earlier, and he didn't. And now the injury, and you heard the coach say it's out of the doctor's hands. Basically, I'm kind of paraphrasing, like they've done everything. You know what I mean? So McDaniel doesn't give you a lot, but sometimes he'll give you some stuff that you can read between the trees. And you're going to tell me you think they're happy with him right now when they see other guys sucking it up and playing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be very cautious when it comes to injuries, medical. You know, I don't have access to Byron's medical records, and so, I do know that the Dolphins' defense is at their best when Xavier and Byron are both available. We saw that in the second half of last season.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm just wondering with that one, what's it called? You look at this game. This is one of those where I think we're kind of expecting Tua to get back in a groove now, right? Because one of the things I talked about throughout the offseason, or I talked about it throughout the week here, he had the whole offseason, then he had training camp preseason, so he starts off red hot. Now you get 24 days off, kind of takes your timing off. Now you get that game, and now a couple weeks of practice, the one leading up to the last game and this game. I would expect Tua to be much sharper this week, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, he conceded that there was some rust. Tua did, and then also the Lions have the very worst defense in the entire National Football League, particularly vulnerable against the run. So you should see Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds hopefully get back in a groove, and that'll create some play action opportunities for Tua. This is a good part of the schedule right here. And that's what I'm writing about in Sunday's Palm Beach Post. I'll post it on the website in a short time here. This is the moment where the Dolphins offensive line, my headline is, it's time for more Dolphins touchdowns and smoother operation. I wrote that this is the moment where the Dolphins get 4 weak opponents, 4 bad defenses, and that perfectly meshes with the idea that they are able to get back in rhythm, timing, anticipation. It's a new scheme, and this is the moment. This right here. Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator, agrees. By the end of this month, by Halloween, the Dolphins' offense should be firing on all cylinders.
Give me some good news. Cater, Kohu, and Crossan. What's your gut tell you, dog?
So I was not out at Dolphins camp today. I did see those guys running around yesterday. Mike McDaniel did say today that nobody is out or doubtful. So certainly more encouragement about Crossan and Kohu. But, the Dolphins have gotten away with no Crossan, no Kohu, no Needham, no Byron Jones, which is pretty amazing.
It is.
And, the Lions have a pretty good receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think is how you say it.
Yeah. He's a little banged up, right? Isn't he a little banged up going into this game?
Yeah, but I think
he's gonna play.
DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I think he and DeAndre Swift. Brown went out with the Tua rule, the Brissett Tua rule, with the concussion that wasn't really a concussion, and so yeah, the Lions, do have a couple of decent offensive weapons, but look, it's the Lions, it's Dan Campbell, nice guy, but the Dolphins should win this. You just hope that there's not a huge emotional letdown. Last week, no points scored in the second half. Maybe you don't see too many points in the first half this week, but in the end, the Dolphins should pull away and cover.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It looks like Austin Jackson is out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't practice this week.
Yeah, so
Shell was doing okay, right tackle.
That's what I'm saying. Does Austin Jackson realize he's about to become Wally Pipp?
Well, listen, the coaches are going to make that decision. You don't want an Austin Jackson with a bad ankle, right? Austin Jackson is a young player,
yeah,
who is
high ankles.
Yeah,
You've played some ball, right? We've all had high ankle sprains, bro. Those things are brutal,
yeah. I
brutal.
mean, it can be as bad or worse than a broken bone.
Amen, amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't want an injured Austin Jackson out there. Let's get him healed up. Brandon Shell is doing a better job than Greg Little. I wrote in today's Palm Beach Post about an interesting matchup between Teron Armstead and the Lions' Aiden Hutchinson, the second pick in the draft. Someone pointed out that Aiden Hutchinson will line up opposite both tackles. So you have to imagine he's going to get some run at Brandon Shell as well. But that's a classic matchup there. Armstead, the three-time Pro Bowler. Hutchinson, who had 14 sacks at Michigan last year, and then already 4.5 sacks this year. He's really come on the last two games. He's, Bosa-like, Watt-like. And so that's
Yeah.
one of their best players right there. Matchup to watch. The Dolphins don't like to use extra guys to chip and help with the tight ends and the running backs. They want to get their guys out in space. And, so hopefully Shell holds up when matched up against Hutchinson. You know Teron will. You believe it. We will.
Are you expecting Gaskin to get more run because of the struggles of Chase?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The Dolphins lead the NFL in dropped passes. Chase Edmonds leads the NFL in that individual statistic in terms of drop passes. So a little bit of hurt confidence right there. I think Chase Edmonds is obviously in his head. He's a much better player than he's shown. He's a much better player. Yeah.
God, that's so screwed up, dude. He's a good football player, bro. And I don't know what the hell is going on with that poor guy, bro. But he is going through hell right now with his confidence or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but that's not the Chase Edmonds that I normally watched in Arizona. That guy's a good football player. It's weird.
And yes, maybe Gaskin gets a few more carries. It'll be interesting to see with the trade deadline coming up here. Next Tuesday, do the Dolphins add lineman depth? Do the Dolphins add a running back? Maybe do they add
safety? You can't replace Brandon Jones, dog.
Well, you know what? I was looking at this. The Dolphins need more turnovers, and I was thinking about this. Who's a guy who throughout his career has actually forced some turnovers? Eric Rowe. Eric Rowe led the Dolphins in forced fumbles last year. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking maybe Eric Rowe. Maybe it's time to revisit Eric Rowe.
Well, I think he's going to play the position. The problem I have with Eric Rowe is he's become more consistent at covering tight ends. He's not consistent with running backs and receivers. And so that's where I think he will struggle at times because he will not be consistent. He's not the blitzer that Brandon Jones is. He's not the run support guy that Brandon Jones is. So that's he doesn't. I don't think he. The problem is that Brandon Jones is a weirdo. It's hard to find people like that have the skills that can rush the passer, that can knock.
He was improving in coverage too. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and he was making, and that was his only weakness. And he clearly was showing that he was improving in coverage. Brandon is a freak, dude. He's not. It's hard. They're gonna need a couple of players to play that position at times.
Yeah, and the Dolphins did force 3 turnovers last week, and they are about to face 3 quarterbacks who rank in the top 4 in turnover-worthy plays, according to Pro Football Focus. That would be Jared Goff, who you can turn this guy over. Justin Fields turns the ball over. Jacoby Brissett, unfortunately, West Palm Beach guy, will turn the ball over. So I've been thinking about it, and I'm writing about it here. Andrew Van Ginkel has come on. I saw that he actually leads the NFL in pass rush win rate among all edge rushers. So we've been correctly giving Jalen Phillips love for his extraordinary athleticism and the fact that he's, a beast to handle. But Van Ginkel, I think we're going to see more snaps for Van Ginkel, and he's a guy who has shown throughout his career that he can turn the ball over.
That's my guy, bro. AVG? Kidding me? I fight with Omar Kelly all the time about that. He gives me shit about AVG. He thinks he's not that impressive and he's not a ball hawk. When you see Omar Kelly, if you ever see him again, because I don't know
not
if
a ball hawk? No,
exactly.
he's a ball hawk.
I know.
No.
I know.
I keep trying to
I
get him.
know.
Since I met him, I've been trying to tell him, listen, you need to get into Metallica and Megadeth and all this. He's not into that stuff. It's shocking with the hair, you would think.
You would think, right? Yeah.
He's more into the country.
He should have been at Iron Maiden with me last night.
Right.
What you're saying.
I know. Oh, there you go. I do like Metallica.
Yeah, I'm going. You going next month?
That's a special show I just saw about, right?
Yeah, dude.
Can you get me in? I heard it's
dedicating it. They're dedicating it to two members of the band. One that was a band member and touring manager, both dead. And they're only playing music from 83 and 84. So that's Kill 'Em All.
Are those songs I'll know or not really?
Well, Ride the Lightning has a crap ton, Whom the Bell Tolls and Ride the Lightning. And so there's a whole bunch of songs in that one that are, they're already legendary as it is. The first album is not as good. Kill 'Em All is like kind of raw, and the recording, the production of that album is not very good. I wish that this band would actually re-record that album now, and it would probably sound better. But for me, Ride the Lightning is actually my favorite album. But anybody that loves old Metallica, that's all you're going to see that night, because it's all dedicated from the era when those guys were apart.
So do you have a ticket? Because it said that it's intimate venue.
Yeah, well,
I've never been over there.
It's at the Hard Rock, so everything at the Hard Rock Live now is intimate because there's only like 6,000 or 7,000 seats. So the tickets are expensive as hell to get into that one, especially that Metallica concert, because that's not part of the tour. This is a completely special show that they're doing. I can't wait for it, bro. I cannot wait, because Ride the Lightning for me is damn. That is my favorite album, so I can't wait. All right, so what's the prediction there, Hotshot? What happens this weekend?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not cleared to fly yet, so I'm not going to be in Detroit. I had to cancel my Chicago flight. I will be at the Browns game. I was at the Steelers game on Sunday night. Did not get a chance to see Coach Flo, but yeah, no, Dolphins to win going away. I'm going to give you something like 28-17. Dolphins cover.
Okay, what insight can you give us on General Herpes?
Don't know anything about it.
What do you think of that X story?
Gotta go, Big O. Gotta go. All right.
Follow
good
him on
to see
Twitter.
you. I'll see you on Sunday.
Follow him on Twitter, Schad Joe.
See you, bud.
Okay. Subscribe to the Palm Beach Post and support this man. Joe, we love you. Have a great weekend, bro.
See you
later. I started with the hijinks, and he was out. That's Joe Schad.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.